and see if the Queen Mother can continue on. Spoke with her about a week ago. It's kind of amazing how, even though my mom is like 90, when I speak to her on the phone sometimes, it's hard for me to distinguish between the 90-year-old woman and the 37-year-old mother she was when I was a boy. She's a voice and everything sounds the same. But she has some issues. She's lived a long life. And she always said that she doesn't want to linger. She just wants to go. So I'm not ready for her to go right now. But, so I'm praying for my mom today. She gets well and let these great grands and grands see her one more time or some more. Last night, there was a gentleman, a young man that was airlifted, they tell me last night, from the Marion game due to cardiac arrest or something. I didn't really see anything in the paper today in regards to it. But it's a serious thing, and I hope the young man is all right. I pray for him and his family that he recovers. So, as for the game last night, Swamp Foxes took it on the chin again. They're now 0-3 to start the season. It's almost a worst case scenario. They have had some people hurt. If what I understand, there was some injuries, suspensions from last week in the little fisticuffs that took place toward the end of the game against Mullins. Someone told me 3 players were going to be suspended for last night's game. And then you got the injuries to Dooley, quarterback. And quarterback last week also went out of the game, hurt. So Marion's got a myriad of problems right now that they got to fix, and they got to fix them pretty quick. This 0-3 is 2 losses to 2A teams, and now another loss to a single A team, Timmonsville. And I was leery about this game coming in, as I am leery about Lakeview, which is coming up soon. In fact, I think Lakeview comes up this week. So with these injuries that they have, I spoke to Dooley, the quarterback from Marion, Devontae Allen. Ran into his dad in the supermarket last week. This is how you get information. You gotta know the parents. So he told me that kid was coming along nicely and that he should be back for the 18th. Now, the 18th, Marion plays. Okay, that's the Creek Bridge. They play Creek Bridge on 9/21. But maybe they can get him back. But their offense last night obviously wasn't clicking. 6 points. Can't win many games like that. But when you're getting beat by a single A team, 29-6 or whatever, it's not a good look. So they got to right their ship. Looking at their schedule going forward, and we'll try to see when or how they're going to break this losing streak, because really the losing streak goes back to last year. I don't know what game they played Creek Bridge in last year. I'm going to have to assume it was probably the third or fourth game. They hadn't won a game since. So we're looking at possible 0-9, something like that. And with games coming up against Lakeview, Dillon, Lake City, Cheraw, and Loris, they got to find some wins somewhere in here. Loris seems to be having their struggles. I don't know how it's going to be at the end of the year when they play Marion. Sherrod is going to be tough. Lake City has had their ups and downs, but they're playing big schools and they're losing. Aner is going to be the homecoming game, they tell me. And that's going to be on the 5th of October. So the part of the schedule that we were hoping that Marion would be able to rack up maybe 3 wins, considering the single A teams, Lakeview, Timmonsville, and quite possibly Latta. Now look, I look at the Latta situation. You know, you have to win games. You have to win games that are winnable. And Marion blew a golden opportunity to get the season off to a good start with a win against Latta, but that all fell apart down the stretch and in overtime. So they didn't get that one. And then next stop is Mullins. Mullins right now is still unbeaten. And I knew that was going to be a tough game. Marion gave a really good effort. But the fact of the matter is, they kind of let their foot off the gas, and Mullins took over and won the football game. Now, you figure Timmonsville coming in here would be clay pigeon types. At least you hope so. Turns out Timmonsville said, we ain't the ones. So, not good right now in Swamp Fox land. They have a lot of work to do. As I said, overall, the team looks better. I think the team is, more athletic, more physically gifted than they had been last year. But still, that's not trend victories, which is the whole point of this thing, right? Got to get some wins. I'm going to give you some scores from last night. I'm going to talk a little bit about college football today because that kicked off last weekend. I didn't watch many games then, but probably watch a few today. The scores from last night reads as follows. Well, this is Thursday's game, and West Florence pounded Lake City, 56-13. North Myrtle Beach handled St. James. Those would be the St. James Sharks. How much of a shark are they? Chesterfield and who is this? Staple. Chesterfield. Wow. Versus Anson County. And Anson County won that game 49-33. Aner, a team that's going to have to be reckoned with by Marion on homecoming, no less. They beat East Clarendon 38-30. Carver's Bay still rolling. 42-6 over Hemingway as Hemingway continues to falter. Carolina Forest all of a sudden is like a power almost. I don't know who Hoggard is, but they beat them last night 42-35. Carolina Forest is doing very well right now. Central beat Chirral last night 33-13. Hartsville shut out Conway, and Conway is having major struggles right now. Hartsville is not. 35-0. PD Academy over Colleton Prep 38-8. Creek Bridge 42-6 loser to Latta. Andrews, another team in that conference with Mullins. They hammered Georgetown 40-0. Green C. Floyd 32, Loris 28. Hannah Pamplico 36, MacB 9. John Paul II 35, Carolina Academy 20. Dillon beat up on Lakeview again for the umpteenth time, 41-0. See, that's what you do with single A teams. Crush them. You're a 3A team, you crush them. Dillon makes sure that they always get a little crushing in when they're playing against these weak sisters. Lumberton beat West Brunswick 22-5. Mullins 42. C.E. Murray 8. Lamar beat North Central 33-7. Orangeburg Prep 17. Somebody Christian 19. Robert E. Lee 36-0 over King's Academy. Myrtle Beach all over Socastee 63-20. Timminsville beat Marion 29-6. Trinity Burns 49. Dillon Christian 14. Fairmont 28. West Bladen 6. South Robinson 16. West Columbus 6. And Wilson went on the road to take care of Lower Richland by a score of 14-7. Looking at the rankings real quick, I'll tell you, Dillon is, it was some people talking the other day about Dillon. Nobody wants to really give Dillon their due. Before, the argument with Dillon against Dillon used to be, you know what? Well, yeah, they won in 2A and they and all that, but they can't. But can they win in 3A? Well, they went out and they won in 3A. But now the topic has switched to the program not advancing the careers of the players. Now it's about, well, what about academics? Where any of these kids playing? Well, Patrick Leggett posted some numbers and some names of players who played at Dillon, who are now matriculating at various universities around the countryside. Dillon is a great football program, for better or for worse. Whatever they're not, a great football program they are. They're a great team. They have been a great team for all these years. And I understand people and their concerns about academic. Of course, I'm concerned about academics too. But don't use that as a vehicle to bash these guys who are basically ultimate warriors. I think they have a good chance of going back again this year. And according to the state rankings, I'm not the only one that feels that way. Fact is, when you look at these state rankings overall, that's all divisions, all classifications, Dillon is ranked number 3 in the entire state. Only T.L. Hanna of Anderson and Dutch Fork of Irmo are ranked higher. Let me give you the rest of the rankings. Number 4, Fort Dorchester. Number 5, Burns. Number 6, Dorman. Number 7, Greer. Number 8, South Point. Number 9, Berkeley. Number 10, Belton Honeypath. Now for the second 10, Gaffney is number 11. Somerville is number 12. Hartsville is number 13. Abbeville is 14. Hillcrest, Simpsonville is 15. Myrtle Beach 16. Sumter 17. North Augusta is 18. Chapman is 19. Spartanburg is the 20th ranked team in the state this week. 21 is Spring Valley out of Columbia. 22 is Lexington. 23 is Lancaster. 24 is Hammond. 25 is Wren. Now, I think this list, the people who fall below Dillon are probably makes a bigger statement about where Dillon football is right now than the teams who are in front of them. Fort Dorchester, formerly Big 16. Burns, Dorman, formerly Big 16s, now 5A. South Point, Big 16. Gaffney, Big 16. Somerville, Big 16. And then you have Sumter, Big 16. Spring Valley. So you have all these teams here that 3A Dillon is ranked ahead of. That makes a serious statement right there. And as far as I'm concerned, it's the only statement that I need to hear. Dillon is for real. They have been. They're a great program. And you cannot take anything away from their accomplishments. Because guess what? Nobody else is doing that. The state championships that people in the PD area have garnered probably don't add up to Dillon's record in the last 10 years, state championship-wise, combined. So I don't have any problem with them, and my hat's off to them. They're doing a great job. You know, college football kicked off last week, and the rankings I have in front of me right here. Same two contenders from the last couple of years, Alabama and Clemson, right now are ruling the roost. Alabama ranked number 1. Clemson ranked number 2. They both played last week. Georgia is the number 3 ranked team, followed by Ohio State, who I think is at least as good as Alabama. Maybe as good as Clemson, but I don't know if they're as good as Alabama. Urban Meyer got in some trouble recently where he kind of told an untruth. But he's been given a pass. And in a couple of weeks or so, he'll be back on the sidelines for the Buckeyes, who went out west last week and ran a roughshod over somebody. Wisconsin is number 5. Oklahoma Sooners, that's Jimmy Howard's team, they're number 6. Auburn, 7. Notre Dame, 8. Washington is 9. Stanford is 10. LSU is 11. Virginia Tech, 12. Penn State, 13. West Virginia, 14. Michigan State, 15. TCU, 16. Southern Cal, 17. Mississippi State is 18. University of Central Florida is 19. And and it was tough sledding, rooting against them. Couldn't root for Steve Spurrier. Never could. So he kind of left him in a pickle. The guy seemed like he just stopped recruiting the last couple of years or so, and it showed on the field because the talent was not there. We'll see if the Gamecocks are moving in the right. They are moving in the right direction. We'll just see how much this year and today, especially because Georgia Bulldogs come knocking in Columbia today. I'm still not back rooting for the Gamecocks yet. I'm still going with the Georgia Bulldogs today. I know some of you may think that's sacrilegious, but I like Georgia's Red Hats and the big black G in the front. And I'm still thinking Steve Spurrier. So I haven't let that hate go yet, but go Bulldogs. I was listening to some guys on the radio yesterday who were talking about the NFL. By the way, the NFL kicked off its season Thursday night, and that was the Eagles versus who the Eagles play? The Falcons. the Dirty Birds. The Falcons have a problem. They got all this talent, all these athletic guys, including Julio Jones. Would you believe with all the catches that Julio Jones made last year, he only had 3 touchdowns the whole year? Can you imagine? So one of my Facebook buddies who is a big fan of the Falcons, he's asking out loud, what's wrong with our team? And I know it seems like a stretch, but I don't think it is. Your problem, if you're an Atlanta Falcons fan, is your quarterback. Yes, that franchise guy that you signed for all kinds of gazillions of dollars. I've been saying this for years now. He doesn't have it. There's something missing. On Thursday night, they had no problem driving the ball up and down the field until they got to the red zone. And they can't stick it in the end zone. That's your quarterback. They've got running backs. They got wide receivers. They got a lot of gifted players on that team. But they can't get the ball into the end zone. That's quarterbacking. Now, I've never been a fan of Matt Ryan, going way back to his Boston College days. But he's just the kind of guy that they will build up to make something special. Now, don't get me wrong. He's had really good numbers over the years. If you hadn't watched him play and just look at his numbers, you'll say, wow, this guy's one of the best. And statistically, he probably is. But there's more, I suspect, to playing a position like quarterback than just your statistics. You have to take a deeper dive into that. And even though I haven't, when I look at Matt Ryan on the field, I have absolutely no confidence that this guy gets stuff done. And he keeps proving me right. Flashback to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. You got to win that game. And he doesn't. He'll get him there, but he doesn't seem to have that something extra to get them over the top. So consequently, they've come up short. But it's early. The Cowboy fans right now, I heard some people talking yesterday about the Cowboys, and I'll tell you, it ain't good. This cat had the Cowboys finishing 8-8. I know Cowboy fans don't want to hear that. See, because they're entitled to win Super Bowls, right, guys? How long has it been? It's been a minute. Which means that Super Bowls and championships are not promised to anyone. I think this is the problem I have with LeBron James. He's one of these cats who feel he's entitled because he is the greatest player in the world to win titles. Hasn't worked out that way, has it? Yeah, he's won a couple, but he's lost 3 times as many as he's won. With all the movement, with all the gyrations, 3 out of 9. And no matter how you slice it, that's not exactly a sterling endorsement of your greatness. But his fans are like none others. They always find a reason why he couldn't accomplish it. It's always he didn't have enough help. He didn't have enough help. Oh, Michael Jordan wouldn't have won all those championships if they didn't have Scottie Pippen. Well, that title, those 2 titles he won down there in Miami, they had a guy named Dwayne Wade down there. And Chris Bosh. But see, the word is that LeBron wanted more control of the players that are brought in. Yeah, you have to have the right players around him because he makes them all better, you know. So Pat Riley, a guy who I've never been a big fan of, said, no, we're not letting you run this thing. I'm the guy calling the shots here, not you. There he goes, back to Cleveland. So he gets to Cleveland with all those stipulations and the players that he wanted, shipping out young guys before they even had a chance, like the Wiggins kid, because he had to have Kevin Love. And he had to have J.R. Smith. And he had to have Iman Shumpert. And he had to have Tristan Thompson. He picked these guys and overpaid them all. The organization did. Now, he gets smoked by the Warriors this year. And all of a sudden, gone to LA. I can't be a fan of a guy who does this. I can't be a fan of a guy who throws teammates under the bus whenever he loses. And then this year, of course, remember when he acted like he had a broken hand? His hand wasn't broke. The Warriors broke him down. I haven't heard any more about the broken hand. Guy comes to the press conference with a cast on. I'm like, really? When did that happen? Oh, it happened. It happened during the second game. Really? So you broke your hand 2 games ago, and you still went out there and did what you do and got beat, but you played great. But now that you got swept, now your hand hurt. Remember back during the I think was it Spurs when they played against the Spurs, and he was dehydrated. Remember that game? Huffing and puffing, he can't breathe. Got smoked. There's always an excuse waiting to happen, and you guys don't do LeBron any favors, because you are enabling his madness. Great player, as Terry Wiggins would say, not my GOAT. I don't even know who my GOAT is, but it ain't him. I might have to go, if I had to say who my GOAT was, it would probably be either Wilt Chamberlain or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Bill Russell. That'd be my top 3.
What about Magic?
Magic is not in my top 5.
Okay. I'll just throw that.
He's a great player.
Yeah.
But I'm not going Magic.
Okay.
I'd go Oscar Robertson before I went Magic.
Okay.
As great as Magic was.
I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Magic was great, and Showtime, Lakers, and all that, they were great. I always loved Magic.
Okay.
At any rate, that's all I got for right now, folks. Be back next week with more. I'm streaming this live on YouTube, and I put a link on my sports group. If you want to pick it up, you can. I just want to try something new today. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Be back next week with more. Peace.
1280 WJAY, Mullins, Marion, South Carolina.
And Bellevue 252 BL FM 98.3, Mullins, Marion, South Carolina. Mullins Discount